Music, dance, theater. It's time to take a seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez. Hear from performers, producers, presenters, and creators who enrich our lives in the performing arts. Who's on stage? Here is Tom Alvarez to introduce you.
Hello, and welcome to On the Aisle with me, Tom Alvarez. My guest today is Felicia Michelle, the effervescent co-host of Life.Style.Live and my colleague. Join me now for my conversation with Felicia. Welcome, Felicia. I'm so happy that you agreed to be on my show. I'm sure it's been a long day, right?
It's been a great day, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And I want to point out that you are my colleague on Life.Style.Live. You are one of the co-hosts, and you're not exactly new anymore. How long have you been there?
It's been a month.
A month.
I feel like longer than a month.
It does, yeah. And, you know, I have to say, you fit in so well, the chemistry that all you guys have. I mean, you guys are really great together. And that's the thing I really appreciate about your talent. You're very natural, very, very natural. And I suppose that's why they chose you. So how did you find your way to Indianapolis?
Wow. So how I found my way to Indiana was I was in Los Angeles and I was doing entertainment, like red carpets and doing entertainment reporting and stuff out there. And the television station in South Bend saw me and was like, we want to do more entertainment stuff. And then they recruited me to come out there. And then for, in TV, so many things happen. There's when you talk, I can't say how many shows that I have had that y'all have never seen the light of day because different things happen. So that show did end up happening. And I was like, I still liked reporting. I still liked news, but my passion was really entertainment. And then I found this, and a colleague of mine, George Valet, worked here at Life.Style.Live before it. He was in South Bend. And I was like, hey, I think I want to do this. Like, what do you think about this? And he's like, I think you should really go for it. And he gave me a lot of advice about it and just really encouraged me to do it. And so I did it, and it moved so rapidly. It was really crazy, Tom, because they were like, hey, can you come in for like an hour just meet? I'm like, okay, no problem. They're like, hey, do you mind coming in for like 3 or 4 hours? I'm like, and they're like, hey, do you want to come the whole day? There's a lot of people who are really excited to meet you. So I was like, oh God. And it made me kind of nervous, but I was really excited. And it was a great, full day. And then literally the very next day, I went to interview the Jacksons at the Hard Rock in Gary, Indiana. So I have this interview for my dream job. And the very next day, I'm interviewing one of the biggest, names in music, really a musical family dynasty. And so it was really surreal as it was all kind of unfolding. And I just felt really grateful about it. Like all the hard work had aligned,
Mm-hmm. A fellow Hoosiers, those Jacksons. And what were they doing in South Bend?
Oh, no, they were at the Hard Rock. I had traveled to Gary.
Oh, I see.
About an hour away.
Okay.
To see them, to interview them in Gary. They were there performing there. The Hard Rock there is like all...
Oh, I didn't know there was a Hard Rock there.
It's
okay.
all Jackson themed.
Wow. It sounds like there's something going on in Gary. They're changing.
Actually doing...
Going through a renewal?
Yes, exactly. Mayor Milton is great, and I've gotten to work with him and Erica's communications director in his office. They're really trying to revitalize the city of Gary. He had said Gary's going to have one of the greatest comeback stories. So they really worked to try to make Gary what it used to be, because I didn't even realize Gary was flourishing. It was a major city here in Indiana before, I guess, whatever circumstances and situations happened. And he's really trying to work to rebuild that. So when I was reporting news not too long ago, I used to go to Gary a lot and hear about what they're doing in Gary.
Well, it was a really sad decline, too, to see it go down as it did. But, I'm thrilled that it's coming back.
Yeah. It's hard to go there to ride around it, to know how amazing people talk about it was, like how they have to talk in past tense about it and just see just kind of the condition of the city, but they have a lot of plans to make it better.
Sure. So how was South Bend overall? How long were you there?
I was there maybe like in the 5 or 10 months. It was great because Notre Dame is right there.
Of course. I was going to ask you about that association. Do they own the TV station?
I think at one point they
It was
did.
just their call letters.
Yeah, at one point they did. Actually, that building has, if anybody's a big Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan, Notre Dame has a specific pattern of brick that they have trademarked, and the new station has Notre Dame brick. So
Really?
by Notre Dame, yeah, at one point.
That's interesting. How far away is it from the campus?
Across the street.
Yeah.
You could walk right across the street.
And how was it being in Indiana?
Well, it was a shock because I had never even visited Indiana before I got the job. I literally drove across country for 4 days with me and my cat, Morris Chestnut. And
What's your cat's name?
Morris Chestnut, like the actor.
I love that.
He's one of my favorite actors. And we drove across country. So the first time I was ever even in Indiana was pretty much the first day I started work. So.
Uh-huh. And how did you take to the so-called Hoosier hospitality? Is there such a thing in your mind?
Oh, yeah. I think that people in Indiana, they are extremely philanthropic. And they're very giving, and they're huggers. They like to hug. They're a big time hugger. And so I got used to that because, when you're in your professional environment, you go to shake hands, but everybody's like, what are you doing, girl? Like, give me a hug.
Yeah.
Y'all are huggers too.
Come on in. Yeah. Well, that's really cool to hear that. But, in different parts of the country, like on the East Coast, you don't make eye contact in New York City. And
well, not too long anyway.
Yeah, and people don't say hello to each other because everyone's so guarded. But in L.A., isn't L.A. like that? L.A. is filled with Hoosiers.
L.A. is filled with all of
Midwesterners. Yeah.
Yeah, I think L.A. I always joke and say L.A. is full of all the hottest people from your high school. Like all the people who are like the hottest people in high school moved to L.A. and then they found out like that. I make a joke all the time. I say I'm an L.A. 7. I'm a Jersey 12. Because everyone there is talented. Everyone there is attractive. Everyone there is hardworking. Everyone there is the complete package too. So just the level of competition is higher, and the level of needing to survive is higher because it's expensive.
Well, I could spend the whole show talking about LA, and we'll get into that. But I'd like to know more about you and your background. Where are you from? Tell me about your family, and let's hear about it.
I'm a very supportive family. First off, I always say that because I could not do this. You don't get to do a job like this and you don't stand on someone else's shoulders in doing it. So I'm from South Jersey. It's a little tiny town. It's called Glassboro, New Jersey, and it's the only Glassboro in the whole USA. Like there's other Philadelphia.
Glassboro?
Yes.
Okay.
Glassboro, Glassboro, New Jersey. Really small town. I went to school with most of the same kids from kindergarten to 12th grade, really, and graduated with them. It's a college town, actually, and just funny, it's a college called Rowan University. It used to be a teaching college, and that's right across the street from the high school, right across the street from where my childhood home was. And they've expanded the college down. Now there's like a medical school they have. And so it's really a small college town. A lot of people have generationally been there, right? Like there was teachers who had taught my parents, or some teachers who had taught people's parents and their grandparents. Like there's, the people just stay in that town, small town vibes. And everybody kind of knows everybody. Everyone's kind of connected as well.
What were your activities? What were you interested in when you were in high school?
We had a great television tech program. That teacher named Mr. Gallen, who used to we thought it was so weird at the time. He used to call us by our last names, like Miss and Mr. and then your last name. And I was like, that is kind of weird. But I realize now he was teaching us to have respect for ourselves and hold ourselves in a high regard. And he taught television tech. And I loved his class.
Sounds very, it sounds like he was also making sure that you know how to be professional.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And he did a great job. So that's where I learned like tight shots, wide shots, close-ups. And
really?
But I didn't want to be on camera. I did not want to be on camera. I wanted to be in charge. I was like, I'll be the director, I'll produce, I'll do something like that, because I just was way too nervous to be on camera. So I used to be in charge of the morning announcement.
Interesting.
So my job was to go to the different classrooms, get the kids to avoid to talk and do the morning announcements, and like almost producing and directing and really project coordinating and kind of the things I ended up doing later on in my career.
Were you involved in the arts at all? Theater or?
We had a theater program, but it didn't feel like it was very inclusive of all kids. And so it was something I tried, but I just didn't feel completely welcome, to be honest. But I was busy. I was a cheerleader. I was like a track manager, basketball manager. I was in the Foreign Exchange Club. I was in Intelligent Tech Club. I was in basically almost everything.
Well, you're perfectly suited for this business then. You have such a great personality. It shows on television. So
and in yearbook too. Yearbook was really fun, and that was like where I got to learn about putting things together, composition, and I learned a really good lesson in yearbook too, which shouts to Miss Evans, because Miss Evans said the camera tastes what it sees. And I was like, oh, and at the time I was like, that's kind of harsh, but in hindsight now, like, the camera tastes what it sees. Don't be upset about how you look. Don't be upset about what your voice sounds like. Just accept who you are, what you look like, and what you sound like, and then you can move into something more polished from that. But if you can never accept that, you'll never move into anything.
You know, it's I never grow tired of how people who've never done this professionally, the phenomenon of how television can be so intimidating to them when they're on television. But you know, we forget that, you know, Andy Warhol, everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame, that it's such a powerful tool. I've never taken that for granted. You know, like when you go, and you know this, when people are on set, you have to calm them down. You have to make them feel comfortable. And, you know, people tend to get really insecure in all of that. And, so it's interesting, the power that television has and how people respond to it, don't you think? Does it interest you?
It does, but I understand it, because at a portion, I remember in college doing like a stand-up, and I could not get the words out. I was so nervous. I said, oh my God, I have made it almost 4 years into this program, and now I'm in front of the camera, and I am shook. I'm shaking like a leaf. But
where did that come from, do you think? Now that where did that derive, that fear that you were experiencing?
I guess it just comes from not being secure, thinking that people are going to look for your fault. And I realize now, over the years, and I've shared this with guests as they come on too, is that
it's what you said earlier about accepting who you are.
And also too realizing that you're afraid of people saying negative things to you, but you don't even realize there are so many more people who are rooting for you to do well. Like, there are people who are looking and hoping that even if you stumble, they want you to recover. They're cheering you on, but you're thinking that everyone is trying to think something bad, and they're not. Mm-hmm. Some people, like, they might feel bad for you, but they're championing you, and you just don't realize that, because the negativity sometimes is way louder than the positivity.
So tell me about your family.
I have great parents. They're funny. My family is not at all into any of this. It's so funny to me, because my sister doesn't even like go on social media at all. Like, she doesn't like do public speaking. Like, it's just like not her thing whatsoever. My mom is a fantastic public speaker. Like, I always think that's where I get it, bro, because I make a joke that she's the Beyonce of the funeral circuit, because everyone has her read all the cards, and like, she's read so many obituaries. She's gone to so many funerals, because I realize she has this gift, and I guess the gift she passed on to me is that when she talks, people feel comfortable, they feel calm, but they can trust her.
The Beyonce of funerals.
I guess she's the Beyonce of the funeral circuit. They can always call her up to come and.
That's hilarious. What's your mother's name?
Marcia.
And tell me, what is your dad? Tell me about your dad. What does he do for a living?
Now he's retired.
Okay.
He worked for South Jersey Gas for like, this is my stepdad, for South Jersey Gas for like as long as I can remember. I remember like Christmases, he'd have his like work uniform on just in case he had to go. He's a very hard worker. And then my biological dad, he's a mechanic, and he has his own shop, and he's worked on cars. I've been like around cars and motorcycles and like racing for part of my life too, which is it's really fun.
Was your mother a homemaker, or did she have work?
My mother is a hustler. Okay, my mom is she worked really hard. She used to work at like a shipping place. And then when I was like about 9, she's like, I need to kind of spend more time with her, and she started like working from home. So she's done like international trade. She's a tax preparer, and she's a realtor as well.
Wow. No wonder she's a hustler. So where did your parents, how did they get to New Jersey, or were they from New Jersey?
So my parents were born in New Jersey. So my mom, it's funny that my mom and my stepdad, and my mom, if I say dad, I always kind of interchange those because they've been dating since I was like 2, so I like don't even know life without him. But my mom and my stepdad were actually in the same 5th grade class.
Okay.
And they hated each other. They used to pick on each other and fight all the time, and they hated each other. Like, and it's just hilarious that they're like now married, and their class picture is actually like up on the mantle, like at their house, like above the fireplace, of them like being in the same 5th grade class.
Mm-hmm. And how many siblings do you have? A sister, but do you have other siblings?
Yeah, I definitely have. I have a ton of siblings. I'm 1 out of 6. My dad has 6, and then I have a stepbrother and a stepsister too. I'm the youngest girl, so that kind of wants me to be like the baby of the family.
And so all of your brothers, they have your back.
Yeah, well, I have a little brother. My oldest brother, he passed away back in 2020.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I hear that, but I am so grateful that I had him in my life. He's like a constant motivator. He was the person that was like, Felicia, like, you could do all of this stuff. Like, I watch girls do this stuff, and he had a bigger vision than I had for myself. He saw all the things that I was already doing. I was just trying to get a reporter job, and he was like, you could act, you could model, you could create something. Like, he saw all the picture for my future than I saw for myself. But it's interesting now because I'm very diversified in my career. I do news, I host entertainment, I do act, I have modeled. Like, I've gotten to do all these different things that he had much more.
May I ask what happened to him?
It's fine. He was really sick. He was sick ever since I was like 17, and he had issues with like his blood pressure, and so his heart just couldn't.
How old was he when he passed?
He's only 39.
Oh,
yeah,
that's very young.
It is very.
Well, I mean, so I come from a family of 9, and we're still go through sibling rivalry.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that probably doesn't help. But I was a kind of an annoying kid, if I'm being honest. I never snitched, though. They did take me with them places, and they did, I did ride around with them in their teenage years.
Yeah.
They're like 15 and 14, and I'm 5, and I'm rolling with them and their friends. I never snitched because I wanted to roll with them. But definitely, we still kind of get into that mode. I don't know if you guys do too, but like, my sister is older than me, and she is only like 5'2". I'm 5'5.5", about 5'6".
Uh-huh.
She still wants to sit in the front seat.
Oh, yeah.
You are way smaller than me.
When I'm around my brothers, and I come from a family of 9, we we revert back to when we were kids and the same dynamics. It's so fascinating to me how that happens,
It is, and I think there's a level of comfortability there, though, because they know who you are at the core of who you are.
Yeah,
like
of course.
Before you got to know yourself, like, he's my brother, so he was able to see things in me that I couldn't.
They also kind of keep me grounded. I've had some success in my career, and but they never talk about it. I know they're probably, because they tell everybody else, but they don't tell me.
Right? What's up with that? I was joking.
Yeah, what is up with that? What do you think it is?
I think it's just that
they don't want your head to get too big.
No, I just think that they just don't look at you like that.
That's
they
right.
think you're Tom and I'm just Felicia, or really I'm my childhood nickname. My probably is
that's probably more.
But yeah, they do brag, and they do say the things, and I know that they are really proud. So I'm grateful that I can make them proud. And that,
on some level, do you seek the approval of your family and all that you do? Is that important to you?
Yeah, it's important to me.
You want them to be proud of you?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they want me to be proud of myself more. Of
course.
I'm proud of myself, and that's been that for them. And I up to move to LA. I didn't have a reporter.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, how did you end up in LA?
I was working 3 jobs. I worked 7 days a week, 12 plus hours a day to save up money to move to LA. I worked as an admin at my school. I was an admin to the prep school. I worked at the Boys and Girls Club after work. So I was with kids all day and then worked with kids after work. And on the weekends, I worked at a car wash.
Wow. How were your grades?
I wasn't in college. I was a grown woman. I was not a good student. I was not a great student at school. I wasn't. It wasn't.
Oh my God, we have something in common.
But I learned it because I don't think creative people's brains work in the same way that other people's brains do it. So I don't think it's from lack of not being intelligent. I don't think it's for lack of trying. I just think the way the systems are set up, creative brains don't work perfectly in those systems. But I did learn a skill set. I did go to college. I went to Penn State. I sent broadcast journalism there. I did learn the skill set. So I'm happy I learned the skill set. But it was boring. I was I need to get out and do it.
Oh my goodness.
Talking about it isn't gonna get me there. I need to get out and do it and get some real practicum in my, existence. Because do I really want to do this? And then I had an internship at Fox 5 in DC, which was phenomenal.
Oh my.
Yeah. And this was the summer that that whole Eric Snowden thing came out, where he told us that the Google was listening, Google was following everything, they track everything you do, and everybody's freaking out. And I was like, I don't want to work in.
So this was in D.C.?
Yeah, I worked in D.C. I interned out there.
Oh, Felicia, we have so much in common.
I love D.C. Do you like D.C.?
I lived there for 2 years in my early 20s. It opened up it was like my master's class.
Because
I learned so much. Because of the people from all over the world were there.
Was the first time that I had seen Black and brown wealth really up close and in a very normalized way. It was ooh, that Black rich person over there. It was everybody had it. Everybody had a dad, uncle, somebody. Everybody had the
generational wealth. Exactly. And one of the most one of the largest Black middle class communities.
They call it Chocolate City.
Well, it's all of that really fascinates me because as you continue to live here in Indy, you'll discover that Indianapolis is noted for having a very long tradition of a Black middle class, and they were way, 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 way ahead of their time. I got into television by way of my mentors, who were 2 African American women. One was the first Black African American television executive, and it's amazing. And then my other mentor was an attorney. She was one of the first African American attorneys in Indianapolis, and so they're both legends. One of them unfortunately passed away. So they came from the Black middle class here. It was always very. I came from a small town in Indiana, but anyway, I share that was such a. It was so important to me to have that influence that they had on me, And so, how long were you in D.C.?
I was there that summer, and then I ended up deciding I thought I was a loser or something. I was in stupid. I guess I thought I moved there to live with my ex, and I was like, this is terrible. It's trash. Oh my gosh, because I was like, okay, well, I don't have a TV job, and I don't see how anybody's gonna hire me. I have nothing on tape. I lacked the confidence to even believe in that. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just be a stay-at-home mom, or and do that whole thing. Yeah. I would have been bored to tears. I would have been bored to death. Nothing against stay-at-home moms.
Sure.
That is what works for you, and that is great. But I didn't get a chance to live.
Well, you sound like Mary Tyler Moore.
I had a chance to live, and I was settling for something that I was just trying to go on life and wrap it up. But we talked about this a little bit earlier. This is a journey that we're on.
Of course.
It's a destination that we're on. And I have to say something that I've noticed about you. I've also noticed this about Peggy as well. You work incredibly hard, and it's going to sound not great, but hard work seems like it went out of style at some point. I'm not sure when that happened, but people like you, people like Peggy, you guys really had to work in overdrive at that time to make it work. So you see, it's young people here and they're like, wow, like she's just like moving. Or like, I was like, wow, like Tom has all these things going on. Yes, because if they didn't have that kind of mentality, they wouldn't have ever gotten the foot in the door. And if they got the foot in the door, then somebody would be like, can you back your foot up so I close the door?
I think you're one of these people too, and I'm gonna tell you how you come off to me. And someone, I had never heard this before, but a dear friend of mine, one day we were talking about, and my friend Pat Rios, I'll give her a shout out. She was like, Pat, Latina like me, and both our families from San Antonio, Texas. She's like my sister from another mother. She worked for the administrative aide to Governor O'Bannon when he was in office. He's passed away. But she clawed her way to the top. Hard work. She's a single mother. It's so much about her but we talked one day about what we had in common, and she says, Tom, you're like me. You're a scrapper. And I think you're a scrapper. Do you know what that means?
That when the rougher hits the road, you're willing to fight for it?
Yeah. Well, scrapper, that you're always... you don't let other people define you, and you go after it. You seize the moment. If that makes me a scrapper, then that's what I am. But people of color, to succeed, you have to be better than everybody else, right?
And have a specific type of temperament. If we want to take it a step further, there's things I can't say. There's ways I can't talk, even if I'm frustrated. There's things I can't do. Because if I do that, then I might, could be polarizing to some people here.
Oh, the angry black woman syndrome.
Yeah, exactly.
That's tricky, isn't it? And I've had to go through that as a Latino and a gay man, stand up for myself.
Yeah, I can't imagine being queer back then, because you can't, could you even tell anybody?
No, I was deeply in the closet because back then they fired people. And I lost a job here. It's a long story, but they had a magazine show here at the station. I was told by the co-host that I was up for a producing job, but they didn't give it to me because, they knew I was gay, although I was in the closet. And boy, that really... but I moved past it, but it was really hard, but it was for me, we face this regularly, and representation, I have these platforms now, and I talk about it a lot because it's my responsibility to make sure that people don't forget that, representation is fair, we deserve it. And that, we should keep it in the forefront, So, do you agree?
100%, because that's the reason why we joked about our fros. That's the reason why I wear my hair curly, because I had my sister, a friend of hers, her daughter said, I didn't know news ladies wore their hair like that. And I was like, she had disqualified an entire career based off of you only can wear your hair straight, or you can't wear natural hair. You can't, so I am very
good hair, right?
Good hair, bad hair. I've been very intentional behind that, and realizing that, when I saw Lisa Thomas Laurie, that's who I saw who made me be like, oh, I can do this. I saw Lisa Thomas Laurie, and Lisa Thomas Laurie to me looked like my mom. I was like 5 years old. At 5, you're like, what do I know? And she looked like my mom, because my mom is like a light-skinned black woman. She has like hazel eyes and like freckles, and Lisa Thomas Laurie is a light-skinned white woman with green eyes. And I was like, she looks like brown hair. She looks like mommy. And I was like, she's so smart. How does she know everything? I want to know everything. And like, how does she get to do this? And like, oh my God, how she talked. Like, I just instantly fell in love with her personality and with her talent, and tried to write her name down, and this news went off. Like, I don't know how I knew lower thirds were lower thirds. I didn't know how to read at that point, because they had taught me very early how to read. So I knew that was a name. And it went off. I was inconsolable, crying, doing the most. She was like a 5-year-old cry. She was like, oh my God, what? So I was like, what? She's thinking I'm hurt because that's how hard I'm crying. And I'm like, I get it. She's and John's like, hey, you calm down. I'm like, I can't. And then my mom, that calmed down. I explained to her that I want to find out this woman's name. I can't. I grabbed my notebook. The show is over. I'm upset. And the mom's like, she does this every day. She'll be back tomorrow. Like, she does this every day. I was like, yes, it's her job. It's her. This is somebody's job. Because at that point at 5, TV is cartoons, it's shows and stuff. Yeah, you have no idea what this is. And I started watching her, and she would do a lot of human interest stories. And that even shaped me as a journalist because I love people. I like talking to people. I love engaging with people. I have a heart for people. And yeah, she's a part of that. And if I never saw Lisa Thomas Laurie, then I would meet Felicia Michelle. And maybe there's a little girl out there who sees Felicia Michelle. And
and your on-air work is, as I said, you're quite a natural, but I'm also impressed with your technique. The way you engage people, the questions you ask. For me, I think it's all about knowing the right questions to ask to help people, become more secure, if you will, and to get them to open up. I think I'm pretty good at that, and you are too.
Want to hear my line? I always start.
Go ahead.
I say, they go, oh, I'm so nervous. I'm like, why are you nervous? You're the expert. I'm the idiot that doesn't know anything. Like, I just kind of put myself down a little bit. I'm like, I don't know anything. Because people look at a host, they think, oh, they know everything. They know all the right words to name. There's times when I have to talk and all I hear is chirp, 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 chirp. I have crickets up there sometimes, and I just try to make people feel empowered. Like, you are here to talk about this because you know everything about it.
I think a lot of people, too, who get nervous in front of the cameras, they've been influenced by, journalists. Oftentimes, those journalists aren't that great, in my opinion, because, they go for the jugular. They like to ambush people and make people uncomfortable. That's not what I'm about,
I don't mind asking hard questions.
Yeah, correct.
No issue with that, especially if you're in the news side. That is your job.
But that's an art form, how to do that and not make people feel intimidated.
Or not alienate them.
Exactly.
It's continuing. And also, you're teetering between being true to yourself, too, because you don't want to be faking. You want that experience to be authentic for both of you. You want it to be positive, but you also want it to be authentic. So there's sometimes when people come on and they have certain foods and it's not my palate, I'll say that's good, or I like this part, or maybe if you like this, then you won't like this, and you don't like this. Like, I try to keep it real.
So it sounds like during your career you straddle hard news and entertainment.
Yeah.
And you feel comfortable switching back and forth.
Well, I'm most comfortable doing lifestyle entertainment. I think that's more in line with my purpose, is like people and to people and connect with people and connect other people with each other. I have done it a lot, even at this job, is if I meet a guest and there's another guest and I go, oh, y'all two kind of should probably get together, because what you do, you can kind of cross-pollinate that. That would really benefit both of you. And I kind of always do those types of things. But yeah, I was told before, you need to pick, you have to pick. And I was like, well, I can do both. So sure, I have to pick. And then I found a job that is both. So
let's talk about L.A. When did you go to L.A.? After which? Okay.
Twice.
After D.C., you
went home.
You went home. Okay.
And then I regrouped and kind of got myself together. And I was like, I'm going to go out to L.A. And I started just working super hard every day, 12 plus hours a day to save up money. I wasn't spending any money.
What did you do when you got out there?
Struggled. I didn't really know what to do, where to go. I was kind of looking at castings, and that's kind of difficult. And when you don't know the layout.
So you were planning on acting?
I was planning on getting into some back. I really knew I wanted to host, but I knew that acting was a vehicle to make money, like doing background work, acting. That was the vehicle to be able to make money, because host jobs are very coveted there. And so I joined a network called AfterBuzz TV, which doesn't exist anymore. And it's essentially
and at the time, what were the opportunities And surely that was pre-Black Lives Matter, but Hollywood was opening up. Was it not for people of color or not? By the time you got there.
Trying to get it to open up for me. Was kind of get my foot in the door. I didn't understand the industry. I didn't know anything. I was very, very green. So I was at AfterBuzz and just struggling. So I was like, I got to get another job. So I had to get a news job in Shreveport. I lived in Shreveport and did like 1 day reporter and like 4 days of like digital content, which if you don't know digital content, it's just white.
So what size market was that?
I think Shreveport is like 89. It's like top 100. I think it's like 89. And then I left there and went to West Monroe, which I think is like 124. But I jumped huge up in my position. So I went from a 1 day reporter, digital content producer to a Monday to Friday morning news anchor.
So it sounds like those jobs, like a lot of small markets, people always want to move up, like, in these parts, people from Fort Wayne and Evansville want to get to Indianapolis, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes in your career, I think people don't realize you will take it's a vertical and lateral moves, right? So when I vertically linked up in position, like I moved down in market size a lot. I dropped down 30 plus.
And in those markets, did they allow you to use the equipment, to cameras? Did you learn editing? Did you have hands-on?
I learned out of all those skills in school.
Oh, okay.
And as an anchor, you don't really have to, of course. And it was also during the pandemic, so we really weren't going out. They definitely weren't going to send an anchor out. But after that, I was like, I'm done with news. I went through all 2020. My first day at the anchor desk was the day after Kobe Bryant passed away, and I was like, this is rough. And then also in that same year, my brother passed away. So I'm like, I'm exhausted. I can't do it anymore. And I'm like, I'm moving back to LA. So I go back to LA and I'm out from like 2021 until last summer.
Wow.
But this is the thing. So when I first moved out to LA, I met all these people at this AfterBuzz thing. And then when I came back to LA, I was working, Tom. Like I was getting because I had already tapped in with those people. So I was tapped in with them to start working. So I got to LA and the ball just started rolling in a crazy way. And I do a show called Leverage Redemption, the after show. I do the official after show for it. And that is from me meeting the girl from the first time that I got there.
What was it called?
It's called Leverage. What's my show called? What is my show called? Leverage Redemption. Hold on, let me try to think how our opening goes. This is like really sad. I haven't actually the comedy wise like this. It's the Leverage. It's the Leverage Redemption official after show, a very distinctive podcast. That's the whole name of it. And basically, what it is.
Did you say after? After
show. So it's after shows. Basically, after shows are inside looks at television.
I get it.
So behind the scenes interviews, we talk to costuming, we talk to writers, we talk to directors, the actors, and that show now is in its third season. So we're wrapping up season 3. I just came from New Orleans in March. I went to New Orleans and we shot all the behind the scenes stuff. So getting to work and do all these different shows, plus behind the scenes stuff, which is even more important to me. I got to do The Wall at NBC. I was a casting associate producer for that game show.
I saw that in your bio. Yeah.
It was incredible. And then getting to just work as like a project coordinator, which taught me like all about the bells and whistles and all that. So all these experiences really came together for me to understand the full scope of kind of what goes into production, and the value of being not only in front of the camera, but also being behind the camera, and the respect level that I have for people who work behind the camera, to producers, directors.
Wow, you really have had a rich background.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you think as you go, well, why is it that it happening for me? Why is it the one thing I want happening for me? And it's not that it's not happening. It's just you're not aligned with it right now. This job to me is alignment in my life.
Yeah, and you paid your dues. You feel you paid your dues, right?
I feel like I don't know.
Or you're still paying your dues?
I think I will never look at it like I'm not going to pay my dues. I feel like I'm always going to look at it like I have to work. I can get better. I can work harder. I can make things better. I can do that. And I think that's that scrappiness that you were kind of talking about. That meaning you think, how do I level up all of this? How do I, even when I think about how I mic myself up, does this still like it would on network television? If someone turned on the Today Show, GMA, or wherever any of those network shows, would I look like I would fit the part? Am I coming with that type of energy, that level of professionalism? You know, I kind of thinking, you know, bigger picture and just wanting to be my best.
You know, I wanted you to come on the show because you had said something when we were on the air together, something about, you know, you referenced that you loved art. Why? Why do you love art? And, you know, I covered the performing arts, but I love all the arts. And I would also, you know, I've written a lot as well for publications. And so visual arts, too, is, you know, I love the visual arts. I love cinema, film. I can't do it all, though. I have to keep my mission sort of narrow to performing arts. But what do you love about the performing arts and artists in general?
I think it's gonna sound so corny, but I think it's divide. How someone can have a concept in their mind and bring it to fruition and get people to get on board with that, and then streamlining a vision, if that's even creating a painting or doing a television show, sure, unscripted. It takes a vision to put that together, and the drive, and also the courage. There's so many great ideas that have never seen the light of day because people were scared about how it would be perceived, what people would say, maybe if it didn't work out, or people always wanting everything to be perfect instantly, and that's not real life. Nothing is perfect instantly, right? Think about when the ever saw a baby walk, they look drunk. It's not perfect instantly, right? But they get the hang of it, and eventually they walk, they run, they skip, you know, because it's repetition. You know, you have to be committed to doing something 100 times with nobody watching, with no views, and you just getting better as you go. And so that's the beautiful part I liked about art, is because I know it took courage and it took vision to be able to bring that to fruition for people to see.
Well, it sounds like you're quite the visionary too. I've always feel like, and I'm grateful that I received a gift of visualization, and I strongly believe it in my work in broadcasting. I've had enough experiences to know that when it springs forth in my head, I can see it. Does it happen to you? I can see it, I can taste it, I can feel it, and I have the experience now and the wherewithal to know the steps to take to make it happen. And then when I put it together, it's one more. I mean, it still amazes me.
It gets stronger as you use that muscle. It gets stronger and stronger every time.
So, and I'm sure you've also learned that you're not afraid of risk, are you?
No, because I don't think you can scare somebody who's hit rock bottom with rock bottom. You know, if you can't scare me, what are you going to scare me with? Poverty? We all struggle with. You can't scare me. What are you going to scare me with? Loneliness? I've been in the city by myself and known no one. What are you going to scare me with? Oh, well, hey, we don't like you anymore. I've been someone's not their cup of tea before. You know, that happens. So I can't be scared of those things because they already happened. And also, I don't believe in being scared of something ahead of time, because you dread it twice. You don't even know if you'd have created a whole possibility. You took all your creative juices and you decided to, or, you know, maybe you didn't decide, maybe it's happened and that's how you've been conditioned over time, but you took all your creative juices and you have thought about the worst case scenarios instead of thinking about the best case. I heard a guy on the internet say this, and I wish I would have saved his name because he definitely deserves to be, this quote attributed to him, but he said, see what you say, and see what you seek. Wait, hold on. Now I'm about to mess it up. Stop my head. Hold on, wait, give me. He said, say what you seek until you see what you say.
Oh, that's a good one.
What you seek until you see what you say. And I've done that. And people think it's like crazy when I say different things. Like I'm gonna have a talk show. I'm gonna be a national show. I'm on a national show. But at the time, that sounded crazy because, girl, you ain't got no job. You don't have no good reel. You don't know anybody. And I look back, I'm like, well, I have the phone numbers in my phone and who I've gotten to meet and what's the lifetime experiences that I've had. If I didn't believe it, if I didn't say it, if I didn't say the crazy thing, then it wouldn't have even happen.
You know, speaking of those numbers in your phone and the people have you met, one of the things I love so much in talking to other people who are in the same field is I've always been fascinated with fame and celebrity. and how it impacts people, negatively and positively. You've seen so many artists, who couldn't handle fame. And then you've seen others, it changes you. And celebrity, all of that. I would love to. I'm sure someone's written a book about it, but I think it'd make a fascinating book. Yeah. You've touched fame. You've touched history. What are your thoughts about it? And now whether you're dealing with celebrity, you are a local celebrity now, and that's what comes with the job. But what do you think about all that?
Okay, so
how do you keep it in perspective?
That's a hard pill to swallow. I don't look at myself like that.
But you are. You're going to be a role model too.
I appreciate that. You're talking about families keeping you humble. I went home last night late, but I picked me up from the airport. So, I think that fame isn't what I seek. It's something I talked about with a friend of mine, and I was like, anybody can know who Jay-Z and Beyonce are. Like anybody doesn't matter. Anybody can know who Jay-Z and Beyonce are. Right, but do you know who Felicia Butterfield Jones is? I know.
It's all perspective. Yes.
She created an organization to help young women get into the interview industry. She also worked at Google as a diversity expert. She's worked at the recording. I know her because she's an expert in the field, and that is what I want. I want someone to say, I'm in this industry, and she's somebody I look up to. Like for me, it's Tara Hall. There's a laundry list of other talent that I look up to as well, but I want somebody to recognize me for my work because they're in this industry, and that's what they respect me for. That's what I would prefer to be known for. But as far as just anybody, I don't want to follow me around or look at my family, but you don't control that.
Well, we've all seen the downside of fame. That's what we're talking about. People who can't go to the grocery store.
But I am maybe I'm an oddball, but I don't mind. Usually people will come, especially when I lived in South Bend and Michiana area, people would come up but all it is that they just want to say hello. They just want a quick hi. Now some people do overstay. They're welcome. Now have I been at restaurants and watched my food get cold and my friends eat before? Yes. Maybe am I too nice? Maybe I am, and I have to learn to.
Sounds to me like you have an attitude of gratitude. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, because I could be at home in Jersey with no prospects, with nobody.
So you're grateful all the time.
I'm grateful all the time. And it's the thing. If someone has incorporated me in their daily routine, who am I to not even say hello or take a picture or a conversation?
I never get tired. That's part of that phenomena I spoke of, going on a shoot and seeing how people transform when the camera comes on,
Yeah, they do.
And then, those people, we forget when you come into people's homes. That's why they feel like they know you.
But it is odd. There's times where you're at the grocery store, you're thinking about what to get for dinner and do what ingredient I have, and then someone is yelling out your station call letters at you, or yelling out your name or something, and you're like, what? But I don't. That 30 seconds, that 45 seconds, that minute interaction, even if it's 5 minutes of my time, that's nothing. But they'll leave that interaction and say, "Oh my God, I got to meet him. It was so pleasant to meet her." You've probably had this experience. Where you met somebody and I do not like them anymore.
I get stared at a lot, and I have to remember because I have to remember that.
What are you looking at?
It's dude, you've been on TV, you've been in the public for 25 years. That's why they're 40.
Wow, congrats.
That's why they're staring at you. And they're either afraid to approach you, or when they do approach us, you're on TV. It's, what do you say? Thank you. Because it's a compliment.
You're the lady on the news. I'm yeah, lady on the news. That's me.
Yeah. But I think it's really important to just, to respond to people with grace,
Absolutely. Humility. Even when we have guests come into the show, I will make sure that I go to the green room and I'm greeting them. And the first time that they're seeing me is not the first time that they get out of the set.
That's such a great idea. Yeah.
Because to us, I think we maybe can sometimes take it for granted, and for them, this may be the first time, maybe only time they'll be in a television station. And maybe in certain areas I worked in, I might be the first and last person they ever met that was on TV that they saw in real life. You know, and don't take anyone's excitement away from them. It's always exciting to see. Don't let take that away. And also, I love kids too. So if you have a kid with you, come with the kid. I'm probably gonna be like, right.
So let's plug Life.Style.Live. What do you like about it?
I have the best co-host. Cody is hilarious. Like, we get along so well. It's so odd because I did not know him at all. Like, I didn't know him in passing. Like, you know, the industry, we kind of all maybe know different people, especially if you're working in the same state. I didn't know this man from Bag of Rice. And I feel like I joked, I was like, he feels like somebody who I went to high school with, and then we reunited as adults, but still act like kids. And he's great. And I'm glad that she has seen and meet his family, and they're awesome. And I
his little girls are just really something, aren't they? Yeah.
Those are my little boos. I love them so much. They're so
he's such a great. He seems like a really great dad.
Him and Nicole have done a phenomenal job in them, and I feel very comfortable being myself. And he's very encouraging, and we have a phenomenal producer in Peter, and he is just
the best.
He's literally makes my job so much easier.
I'm so impressed with his grasp of detail
and how calm he stays. He stays cool as a cucumber. I love it so much. And then we have the most amazing guests, and we have a great crew in there every morning with us that deals with my silliness, my stupidness, and me yelling, "Good morning!" and doing all the things that I do, and just then I'm very appreciative.
And you all get fed so well.
We do. We had kolaches today. I never had a kolache before.
Wait a minute. Are those Polish?
Yes, and they're like,
oh yeah, I've had them.
Some of them are like sweet.
Didn't you get that in South Bend? Because that's all Polish in South Bend.
I never had one down there.
Okay.
Because we were doing the teas, and like, yeah, we have the kolache factory. I said the kaho. And I was like, I was like, oh, Misha, you have to say that one, because I'm gonna say kolache wrong. I had never had one. Patty was on the show today, and she was her first kolache as well, and she's been here, so I also that with Patty Spitler.
You didn't mention Aisha. Your
Amisha, yeah.
Amisha. I'm sorry, Amisha. Forgive me, Amisha. Yeah, I misspoke.
So forgive me. Oh yeah, no. She's great too. She's been on the show for a while and been in the area, and she's actually president of NABJ chapter out here.
Oh,
so that's a great resource for And you don't know what NABJ is if you're listening. Is the National Association of Black Journalists, the president of the Indianapolis chapter. So I've gotten to just connect with that, and it's been a great experience. I literally cannot complain. I love my place. I love the people I work with. My cat is Morris.
What part of town do you live at?
Downtown.
Oh, good. Good.
I just wanted to be where things are going on, and I moved from LA, like being in Michiana, I heard no noise. I was having a hard time going to sleep because LA, like I get lulled to sleep by the sound of sirens and yelling. If I was living downtown LA.
And you're in your car all the time.
Yeah, you're in your car all the time. Yeah. So much. I rarely go to the gas station. It's beautiful.
What do you like about Indy?
What I'm loving about Indy so far, there's always something to do. I have seen some incredible live music. I've got to meet some incredible, especially at the River James event that I got to host and that you put together. Thank you for inviting me to do that.
They loved you.
I loved them, and I will be back at Quarter Bar because that food was good. Okay.
Yeah.
And this.
What are your musical tastes?
Oh, I am. Okay, so growing up, my mom only listened to oldies. So if you ask 5-year-old Felicia her favorite song, she would tell you Respect by Aretha Franklin. So I love oldies like Temptations.
Do you sing?
Oh my gosh, not well. And people ask me all the time because I guess the way my voice sounds. So my dad's side, they're great singers. My biology, great singers. My mom, I love her, but she couldn't carry a toilet and bucket. And so my voice sounds like someone that thinks that they can sing well, but isn't quite there. It's funny. I've thought about taking singing classes just to help my speaking.
You're an actor who sings. That's what they call people.
Yes. Okay,
yeah.
Yes.
You can sell it.
Yeah, I can. Kids songs. I can do kids songs like a little lullaby or something. But
have you done theater at all?
Yes, I have.
Well, you mentioned that. I want to make sure I heard that. Where and what?
I was in LA, and I did a play called I love your own. I filmed a flyer for the other day, and this, you gotta think back, it's like 2019, and this was like 1,000 projects, but it was, I love, you never knew. That's what it was called.
So if you were offered a play, would you do it?
Oh my God, yeah.
You know, there are now 2 Black equity companies in town.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, they're brand new. One at the Phoenix Theater and one through the District Theater. They're brand new. They're developing opportunities for Blacks to become equity professional actors, and it's a huge deal.
That is a big deal. You know what? We have a producer here named Dominica. She's an actress. She's been on The Shy before. She's done a popular show on Showtime, and she told me about that. She was going to open.
And you know that Jay, who used to be a floor director, who went to Detroit, you missed him. You didn't get to meet Jay, did you? Well, I cast him in one of my shows, and I mentored him. And, you know, I studied theater, so and I went back to the theater after 20 years last year. I was in Streetcar Named Desire.
Oh, nice.
And it was terrifying, but that's why I did it.
But what you probably liked about it, I loved that live aspect and feeling the crowd. I mean, I love live listening, but you feeling the crowd, feeling that energy. And then with theater, you become a family with the people you do that.
Let me be your agent. I can give you some work on that.
I mean, become a family with the people that you get to build these really amazing bonds. And I like theater because you have time to be with the character and to be with the scene and to really get that practice going and to get those small details kind of worked out, because you have to really have it live versus acting scripted. And it's because then you just get there, you're like, okay, now I got to start pop into a mode with somebody who I maybe just met 5 minutes ago, and that's harder for me.
Did you do any theater in college?
No. I only started acting when I got to LA, and it's crazy because that play, there was a very dramatic. I had a monologue to music, and I was directed to cry. I was like, I'm never gonna be able to do this. Oh my God! And
cry on cue.
Cry on cue, and I ended up finding out that was the writer's personal story of something that happened to her, where she was a little girl, and because I had a personal relationship with her, I was able to really tap more into that.
And do you try to see shows?
Yeah, I do. I try to get out more. And that's why I'm excited to be in that town, because I can go see more shows.
I always have a +1, and I told you we should go to shows.
We can.
I'd love for you to do that.
Tom, don't invite me anywhere, because I will show up. I tell people all the time, don't invite me someplace if you don't actually mean it, because I'm always looking for someone to go to shows with, and sometimes I forget and I go alone. And the thing is, I like to, in the industry, it's standard to be, because it's not freebie, because I have to work. I have to write about it. I went to see Sandy Patty, and I waited to the last minute and finally found someone who wanted to go with me, and it's like, great, Anyway, I'm very fortunate that I get to cover the performing arts, and I'm sure that now that you're on the show, that you will like me, continue to support the arts. You have a lot of influence and a lot of power doing what you're doing on the show, and that's why I'm so grateful that Peggy, she took me to lunch 11 years ago. And, it was just like out of a movie. He says, Tom, would you like to be on our show to cover the arts? And I just couldn't believe it. It's just like when Alan stopped me in the hallway out here and said, hey, we use your content, but then we decided why don't we just ask him if he wants to do a podcast? And it's like, I love the fact that But that is not like no one gave any of that. It's an opportunity, but you earned all that because you established yourself in your career for people to go, okay, then you think somebody can do this. Oh, boom, it's Tom, obviously, because you put so much reps in that you let people know who you are, what you are about, and what you could do. So it's easy to say, let's grab him. It's like when you pick, when you're a kid and you pick for like the teams of kickball. It's easy. You're going to pick the kid who's most athletic. You're going to pick the kid who has the most experience and the best kickball player. You're going to pick the person who's best for the job and put the work in to be the best.
Yeah, thank you for that reminder. But like I tell people, I said, with the podcasts and all the other things that I do, that, this is not overnight success. I've been doing this. It took 45 years.
It's not. I heard somebody say
that. When you talk about a journey, that's really.
Like I worked 20 years to be an overnight success, because people see it happen so quickly and they don't realize how much time has gone by. Because I said, I am grateful to be where I am right now. I thought it would take a little bit longer.
This is obviously, I'm so grateful for you to take the time to do this with me. But I want to close with, I think it's always an important question. Someone like you, what is your message to young people who are considering getting into this business?
That is a really good question. I would say my advice would be to listen to other people, listen to what people have to say, but also listen to yourself. Because there's sometimes I've gotten advice from people, and as they're talking, my heart is saying, nope, not this, not this. And there's some people who give advice, and I'm trying to understand, and it starts clicking. I'm like, okay, yes, this is right. This is good. Really trusting your gut and knowing what's right for you, because there's going to be times when you're going to have to stand on business, stand on what you're about. Whether that be accepting different conditions at your job, or taking pay cuts to get other places, or do whatever you need to do, right? Really listening to your own intuition, and really trusting yourself that the vision that you saw for yourself can come to fruition. Because if you didn't see the vision, then you wouldn't be trying to go for it. I had posted a picture of me by Life.Style.Live, posted a picture of IG, and it said something like, if it's your calling, it'll keep calling you. If you're being nagged, if you're being like, I need to do this, or I wish if you find yourself constantly staring at that goal, please just go for it. Especially if you're young and you don't have it. And not even if you're young. Let me take that back. If you don't have nothing in your way, but especially when you have youth and you have no kids, and you have the mobility and if you're in healthy shape and your body is while you have all of that, balls to the wall. If you fail, it is the same thing as if you never tried. At least you'll get somewhere close. By just stepping out on faith, have a little faith in yourself.
Well, all of that applies to anybody, but when you're a person of color, there's some layers.
Oh, yeah.
What do you have to say to, young people of color, who might have an interest in pursuing what we do?
Learn how to do your own makeup. I'm so serious. I've been on these sets, and I'm like, I am so grateful that my mom let me play in makeup as a little girl, because I wouldn't have had the skills. Learn how to do your own makeup, learn how to do your own hair, learn how to take accountability and responsibility for your image and how you come across, because you might get to a set and there's somebody who can't help you any. You might get to and that they don't have that makeup shade. They don't have and it shouldn't be that you can walk in and get your hair and makeup done. Everybody else, yes, 100% it should be, but that's not what it is right now. So being prepared ahead of time and having some skill set that's a part of the business. Learn how to put your makeup on. People think it sounds silly. No, learn how to do your makeup, because they might not need makeup. Let me say something. There's not going to be a makeup artist for a very long time. You will not have a makeup artist. So learn how to do your own makeup. Learn about styling yourself. Learn about what colors work on the air for you. Learn about how to put yourself in the best position. If you're frontward facing, it is about your image. It is about how you look. Take pride in that. And take responsibility for it, because once the camera comes on, and find the light, baby. Because the light, sometimes Tom knows I'm talking about. Find the lights. Certain I've been in studios where it's not lit for me. Mm-hmm. It's not lit for me. I think I'm standing in the shade or something, which is nothing wrong with that, but it's not true to the what I look like. So just really taking ownership of your image.
I've noticed that here at Channel 8, they pay special attention. Well, considering that, there are a lot of personalities on the air who are people of color.
They take care of us in that. I haven't had to have anybody.
It's got to be intentional.
I would hope so. I wish it would be more intentional for other people too. Just keep persevering and understanding that you will win. You don't win if you quit.
And let's bring back that other question I asked you about. How do you maintain your professionalism, and when you're dealing with racism?
Oh, wow. I ask direct questions now. Like when I interviewed to be here, I was like, are you guys going to ask me to straighten my hair so you will complain? Are you guys, just get very straight to the point. And for me, in dealing with racism or people being prejudiced, I have to remember too that there are, like when we talked about people being scared, people saying negative things, there are way more other people rooting for you. And just know that unfortunately that's kind of the world that we live in right now, but that doesn't define what you're capable of doing, because there's people who are paying attention. And this is the best, now more than ever is the best time to be brown, to be different, even to be queer. It's the best time that it's been in a very long time. Like you talk about your experience. I kind of wanted to ask you this.
Sure.
And watching how queer representation is really just taking a whole different brown space. It's so open, it's so much more accepting, and it's accepted even more in our own communities, which have historically had problems accepting people who are queer.
Oh yeah.
What's that like to sit and
you get it from all sides?
What is that like to sit and watch the freedom that
It's not been easy. Mark Mullins, Channel 6. Have you met Mark?
No.
You two will become great friends someday. I love Mark.
He's Ashley's friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she showed me, because she told me about him. Yeah.
He's East Coaster too, from I think the Boston area or Connecticut. Anyway, he's an East Coast guy. Yeah. You guys will hit it off, and I'm sure you have a lot to share in terms of your experiences in the business. But Mark did it was such an honor. He did a Hispanic month. He did a feature on me on my dates at Channel 6. I'll send it to you. But
I'd love to see it.
But we talked about, it come out in D.C. as a 20-year-old, but I had to go back into the closet when I worked in TV, because I could tell from the people I worked around there was a lot of sexism, homophobia, and people were just really hateful. They really there was a lot of resentment because I came through as a result of affirmative action. I got my foot in the door because that's a long story, but I was. So I had to assert myself, and people resented it. I was a director. People had to
there's a hierarchy on set,
Yeah.
And talent is not number one.
And they had a really difficult time, and I can't believe, I came in the business. I had never could ever imagine that I could be calling the shots as I eventually did, but I had to learn how to be assertive and stand up for myself. And one day I just had enough. I said, hey, from here on, you got to do what I tell you to do, because this is my job. If you don't like it, we'll take it up with whoever. So I learned how to assert myself, but it was not easy. And I also, I sacrificed a lot by going back into the closet. But eventually, over time, it all worked out. But, so I guess call me a pioneer. I guess it was. But,
I mean, yeah.
I was not going to let someone define me.
And that is awesome.
That's the advice I would give to young people. Do not be true to yourself always, no matter what. Because, to let others have power over you, you'll never be happy. Right?
Yeah. It's interesting because I think to myself, other journalists of color, we talk, and I'm like, man, and talk about different things that are affecting us, and so on and so forth. And then I had to stop, and I'm like, you guys know, actually, we have it so much better than what happened before. So the goal and the hope is that moving forward, that will continue to change. And so, today I said to Patty, I begged her, and I was like, there's no, doesn't all the work you put in as a woman at that time. That's why there's a space for Felicia Michelle, because there was a Patty Spitler. That's why a space for Mark, because there was Tom. That's why.
Have you met Barbara Boyd?
No, I've heard so much about her.
Oh, she'll love you, and you'll love her too.
And so the reason that exists is because we all stand on someone else's shoulders. And so I think about that as I move through this industry.
And you got to meet Alpha Blackburn someday. She had a talk show here.
Okay, yes. I need to be on.
And she had her house is filled with pictures of all these huge stars who used to come into town and be on her show. So we all stand on their shoulders.
We do.
Yeah. Well, we can go. Well, you'll come back.
Oh, I will.
After you've been here, for a while, and we'll talk some more about how.
Absolutely. Or we'll go see a show.
Yeah. No. I've slowed things down a bit because of some health issues, but it won't be long before I'm back on that aisle.
Let me say something. You're slow is other people's speed. So I don't know what you talk about. Slow down. And your slow is not the slow that everyone else.
Age is just a number. I mean, it really
is. It really is. Is what I've realized. It's about having passion, right? All of your life. Like, there's not a point you get to a number and you go, oh, I quit now. And
I think you'll get this. I try. I'm very positive, but how can I not be? I'm in music halls and theaters, immersed in art. How can I not be positive?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And
you sound like you're pretty much the same kind of person when you're going to music concerts and.
Oh, I have a good time. I'm a hoop. I have a good time. I'm gonna enjoy my life. That's what I told myself. I'm gonna enjoy. See, when you lose somebody when they're that young, it makes you have a different type of passion. I'm gonna enjoy this life. I'm gonna enjoy my life.
You're gonna do great in Indianapolis. You're such a great addition to this community. So, thank you again for taking the time to be with me. And let's do it again.
Yes, we will do it again.
And I'll be seeing you next week on the set.
Oh, nice! I love your because I know Tom gonna put that on. He gonna put the outfit on. He had those seersucker pants on last time. I was like, Tom is stylish.
Well, it's got style.
You not stayed in the closet dressing like that. We knew what time it was, Tom.
I want to leave with one little story of when we were on the set together last time. We were talking about the disco symphony show. And I told you, I revealed that, I danced in that. I was in that era. I came out of that era, the 70s. And I said, I had hair like yours. And I did. And you know what? When I came here to have an interview with the general manager at Channel 6, I debated, should I cut off I call it a mixed fro. And it was tight. It was curls. I had a big old head of hair.
Bruno Mars over
there. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I debated, I need to cut off my hair because I won't get the job because they're not going to hire me. And I thought, you know what? I just took a rest. I said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm not going to cut my hair. I'm going to see. I hope, I'm just going to be myself.
Self-belief.
And I did, and a miracle. I mean, it wasn't an issue. And they hired me that way. And, that was, and then coming to Indianapolis back in those days, if you wore your hair long, you were an outlaw. And you faced persecution.
Oh, my gosh.
Like a lot of the hippies did back in those days. So anyway, that's why when we talked about hair,
Find the picture. Please bring it in.
Oh, yeah. I used to have a segment called Throwback Thursday, and we would throw up pictures.
Oh, I like that.
They don't do that anymore. So anyway, we could go on forever, but I know you got stuff to do.
Yeah.
But thanks again.
Thank you so much, Tom.
I'll see you soon.
Great.
Our thanks go out to our media sponsor, Urban Times. Urban Times is a monthly news magazine which serves as the official neighborhood newsletter for 16 Indianapolis neighborhoods, offering news about development, arts and entertainment, and from the business community.
Who will take center stage on the podcast next? Your seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez awaits. Follow Tom on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and make sure to visit tomalvarez.studio. Watch Tom every other Thursday on Life.Style.Live on Wish TV, and make sure to listen every week here on the All Indiana Podcast Network.